Good morning, members. So today is the 2nd of June and we're looking at the news initially. So let's head over to today. What can we see? So if I just refresh the page, so what we can see is that we had a bit of news there, Euro news coming out at 8 a.m. so we need to be careful of that. I'm only looking at Euro and US dollar news. These are low impact, so they don't bother me. 115 is where non-farm employment change is coming out, so that's going to be a big one. And then unemployment claims at 1:30. So around 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I won't be trading. 1 to 1:45 I'd say I won't be trading. And 6 p.m. is out of my trading hours anyways. So starting on Euro US dollar, what can we see? So we can see we were clearly in a very bullish trend on the 4-hour, gone up, and then we've had a change in character here. Yep, so we can mark that up. And then we've had a break of extreme structure. So it is fair to say that we are definitely in a 4-hour bearish trend. So I'd be looking for sells potentially from here. The reason being is, if I zoom in a little bit, what can we see? We can see that we've obviously clearly broken structure, and we've had that body closure below the break on both of them. We were probably, for this leg, we were probably reacting off of this demand. Sorry about that. And we are in a bit of a supply move, so it's not too clear on the 4-hour. However, we have a demand zone here, it's reacted there. Then we have supply zone there, it's reacted off of there. Then we have supply zone here, which is where this is reacted from and moved down. So clear bearish structure. So this would be where I'm looking to potentially get in. However, this is the 4-hour, so there might be something clear on the 15-minute that aligns with this market structure over here. So let's head over to the 15-minute in a second, but let's mark up where our potential area of target could be. So what I'm currently seeing is this area of demand. So we could potentially react to some sort of supply and come down to this 4-hour leg of demand. Now let's head over to our 15-minute time frame. And what can we see? Oh, we need to zoom out a bit. So just to clean up the chart a bit, I'm just gonna reorganize. There we go. And we're reacting for this demand. Okay, and then potentially supply here. Okay, so what can we see potentially happen? So looking at our 15-minute, what can we confirm that we're in a supply bearish trend? So what I can see over here is this order block over here caused this reaction, and this order block over here caused this sort of reaction, then this liquidity wick over here caused this inducement, and this reaction drop. So I can confirm we are in a supply chain. Now, potential points of entry. So I don't think price should go as far as this order block. Reason being is the fact that, honestly, if it does go there and breaks this key leg, breaks this structure, breaks this structure, and breaks all of the structure, we're probably very bullish. So we need to think in terms of what's actually going on. So I'd more likely be inclined to see some sort of movement off there, and it's quite close to the reaction leg. So something off of there would be nice to see. Yes, potentially we will feel that imbalance in the future, but for the shorter term, we're not looking at anything around there. You know, obviously we can see this whole area as a long bit of range. I've just marked that as imbalance. I need to create a range zone too. So in terms of buys, there's nothing really on. You want to stick with the buyers. So what I'm seeing is this range and liquidity forming all above this range for a potential spike up, then a drop to take out this reaction leg. Is that probable? Yes, very. Are we likely to see that today? Yes. So obviously we are going to drop down to the 1 minute to get precise entries once we grab that liquidity above these highs. So that's my key trade on Euro US dollar for today. Now heading over to the 4 hour on pound dollar. Now what can we see? So again, very very similar to Euro US dollar. So we can see this bullish trend. We've broken key 4 hour structure. Yes, we haven't reached this area, this potential imbalance there, but again, still very bearish. So we've had this initial change of character, then we've had this very obvious break of structure, and potential 4 hour targets for sales I'd say would be around here. And then of course lower zones down here, so on and so forth, but let's aim for that initial target. Very similar structure, again a bit of a range, so let's see where we could get in. So not as clear an entry on GU as EU. I'm potentially seeing a liquidity wick in here that caused this supply to form. Then off of this supply we reacted off of this liquidity wick, off of this liquidity wick, this reaction, this reaction, this and this. Potentially what I could see going on is a move off of the 50% area of this inside bar order block. In fact, I'm just going to, yeah, that's fine, off of the 50%. So if we break structure here, then I'd start to look for some sort of reaction over here. However, there is lots of liquidity lying above these highs. So let me just clear this for now. There's lots of liquidity lying above these highs. So there we go. So I expect price to take out liquidity, maybe hit that 50% level I was talking about over here, and possibly move off of there. If we do break this structure without getting back there first, however, then we could potentially just see a move off of this order block over here. Again, you need your 1 minute confirmation entries always. That is very, very key in the success of trading. Overall, that was a range. We do look to come down fill this imbalance over here. So my initial target would be this area of imbalance. So there we have it. In terms of potential entries above here, same thing as Euro US dollar. I don't really expect it to come up to that supply, potentially because of the inside bar, but it's just too much structure. And what you can see is there was actually equal lows over here, which formed liquidity, and then the liquidity was swept over there, which meant that there was loads of orders there. So there was loads of buy limits triggered here. It came up to supply and then it dropped. So you need to be very careful about what you're kind of seeing. Yes, we've marked this area up. However, you do want to consider the fact that if this supply over here and this supply over here both fail without forming new lows, then what you want, so potentially what I'm looking at is move up from here, breaking this supply and this supply over here. If you see that, you could potentially be looking at bullish change of character, and then you could consider buys. But right now, at this point in the market, there's nothing of that sort. So in fact, I'm going to send this chart in. So in terms of potential areas of entry, like we've said, that 50% on GE, but the EU trade is a lot clearer. So that might be primary bias trade, and you want to be using EU as a kind of like a backup trade. So I will send out these charts to the analysis channels, and I wish you guys a good trading day.